Call a meeting of the Fiscal Court to order. Welcome everybody this morning. Before we start, of course, I think everybody knows of the tragic situation that occurred over in Oklahoma. We still don't know the final count of people that were killed in that tornado. Looking at the TV last night and today, it's just almost unbelievable the amount of devastation, the path that tornado took. And, you know, I guess all things considered, with schools being hit, count their blessings, I guess. You can't say they're lucky because I think over 50 already has been determined to have lost their lives in that tornado, and they're expecting more bad weather today. So it's a terrible situation, but keep those folks in mind there in Oklahoma. Josh Tubbs wanted to address the court this morning. Josh?
Yeah, Judge, just want to let you all know that the Department of Transportation has released their grant opportunities through the Tiger Grant program for 2013. In the past 3 years that we've applied, the state has acted as the applicant, and basically the counties would go through the state. This year the state's not doing that, so each county is having to apply themselves to the federal government. I'm not sure why that is. I think it's because there's not a pre-application period, and the application period was cut very, very short. The deadline is June 3rd. So I've talked with our port board. They want to pursue this. Basically, we're applying for, or wanting to apply for $7 million to do a rail spur from the Paducah and Louisville Railway to the Tennessee River, running parallel to McFarland Road in Calvert there in our port corridor. Our match will be $1.5 million through the Port Authority. Would not be asking anything of the county or the city. That would just be with the Port Authority funds that we have to continue widening and enhancing McFarland Road for industrial traffic. That would open that up for industrial development a little bit better. So I guess what I'm asking, Judge, is if it's okay with the court that we apply for those funds under the fiscal court as the applicant. It doesn't commit you all to anything. It's just so we can apply for those funds.
It's the necessary step if we're going to continue to try to develop that area down there. That's the rail spur and the road enhancements are the very next thing that need to be done.
This, like it or not, this is one of the only real opportunities there are for federal funds when it comes to infrastructure development anymore. There's just not many programs left for projects like this. So, and we've applied the last 3 years. We've not been successful. There've been some very large projects that have been funded, but our advantage is that we do qualify as a rural area in this Tiger grant objective, and we don't have to provide a match, but we are. That makes us a little more competitive. So anyway.
Need a motion?
Yes, we do.
Make a motion.
We have a motion and a second. We allow Josh Tubbs of the Economic Development Office to apply for the next round of Tiger funding to be used for a rail spur at the Port Authority Industrial Complex, Calvert City. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries.
And just a reminder, May 31st from 11 to 1 at Benton City Hall, TVA's Economic Development group will be there to give the elected officials session, the Economic Development 201 or 101, I can't remember which one, something 01. The Port Authority will be providing lunch, so if you plan to be there, let me know, RSVP, so that we can make sure that we've got lunch provided for you. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Jeff, you have a guest this morning?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, can you approach? On behalf of the Marshall County Fair, we kick off tonight, and as a special part of this year's fair, we have a clown circus, and this is a show for 12 and under, and it's part of the $10 fee to get in to see any other of the shows, and she'll be doing 2 shows each day, 3 on Saturday, and we all would welcome everyone to come out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you said the clown circus, I thought you meant the fiscal court, we was all gonna be there. Didn't know what you had in mind there.
I knew we could bring a clown in here and make it a full 3-ring circus.
All right. The fair does kick off tonight, and we'll run through Saturday night. I think it'll wind up with the demolition derby
Yep.
on Saturday night, which is always a big event. The carnival, I guess, is setting up as we speak.
Right.
And be a full week of activities for Marshall County Fair, so we invite everybody to come out. Anybody else here to address the court this morning? All right, if not, let's go into correspondence from the, I'm sorry. Well, I had your note. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it, Aaron?
I can read it.
Go ahead. I missed school today. They had reading, so go ahead.
You want me to come up there? Or you
Well,
want
of course.
me- I
I mean,
got a loud voice, I can carry it.
well,
We wanted to address the fiscal court on some changes that Autumn and myself out at the shelter would like to see happen. The first one, we have a reclaim fee currently set in place at $15. We would like to up that to $20 on a reclaim fee on any stray that's brought in that is reclaimed by the original owner. This way it's consistent of the drop-off fee that is already in place of $20. We would also like for the reclaim fee to double if the dog's in there for a second, or cat is in there for a second offense. The third offense would triple and would be a mandatory spay and neuter if the animal is altered. We're hoping that this will cut down on our repeat offenders because we have a handful of them that come in probably on a monthly basis, and they are unaltered, and those are the animals that are running around in the county making the unwanted litters. So we're hoping that if we keep that fee going up each time, that maybe next time they won't be in there and there won't be as many unwanted litters if they know that they're gonna have to get that animal spayed or neutered. Our adoption fee right now is $15. As you guys know, we are working on a system and putting it in place where we will microchip every animal that will leave that shelter. And with knowing that and the cost of microchipping along with the shots, dewormer, and flea application, we would like to go from $15 to $25 to help cover those expenses. It still keeps it low, and we still believe that we can get the animals adopted out at that price as well. The animal warden has had some issues going out to some homes lately. Repeat offenders on animals being a nuisance, and they just go out there to talk to the owners to let them know and ask them if they can contain their pet that is being a nuisance. We are asking that on the first trip, it just be a warning, but on the second trip, if they have to go out there, that the animal is automatically brought in and the owners are charged a $50 reclaim fee and a mandatory spay or neuter if it is unaltered. And those are the fees that we would like to set in place.
Jeff, when an animal continues to be a nuisance on somebody's property, what does the law say a property owner can do?
Well, in certain situations, they can kill it.
How does this language tie in with the ordinance? Is it something that could be just kind of modified? I know it's similar to what other counties are doing already, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think any ordinance you get can circumvent state law, though, is it?
No, it'd be in compliance with state law. It'll set forth the specific policies on how we handle it.
Yeah. Now, the reclaim fee now is 15, you want to go to 20, Aaron?
To 20, yes.
An adoption fee from 15 to 25, which is a $10 jump.
Correct.
And when you say you're gonna be microchipping the animals that leave the shelter, explain what your end goal is here.
Microchipping, basically, for those that don't know what microchipping is, it's a little shot that is given into the back of, in between their shoulder blades, and they're given a number. Every time a stray comes in, we have a scanner that checks to see if they're microchipped. If they are microchipped, that number comes up, we call it in, and we automatically get the people that own the animal's number, address, every information on that animal. If they're not microchipped, obviously the animal stays there and we play out the process. Now we're wanting to adopt out animals and microchip every single animal that will leave, and in turn, if any animal is out there in the county, it's gonna be easier for us to track down an owner if they are microchipped.
All right, any questions? I just don't want us to get to the point where we kind of overdo. And people just stop, we've talked about this before, just dropping their animals off in the bottom instead of bringing them into the shelter or taking advantage of our facilities, you know.
Right. We had 6 owner surrenders yesterday, and all 6 paid the fee with no complaints.
The new fee,
The $20 drop-off fee.
Just from what I've seen, I don't think you're gonna have a problem necessarily. The same people that are having the nuisance animals are the same ones that aren't gonna pay the $20 fee. You're dealing with that same group of people, it's just how you go about handling that, I think, is probably, just from the call volume that I've been reviewing with animal control, it's consistently the same people, and right now, there's no policy in place to handle that.
Right.
Which I think was going to be a part of the original ordinance that was created anyway. There was going to be reoccurring penalties and things like that in the ordinance. This is just kind of preempting, I think, what Jeff's been working on.
And we could set these fees without an official ordinance, so it's no problem.
He said because he told us, and I'll let him comment, but he had told us before that because we didn't have an ordinance that we could set policy at the shelter because there was nothing in conflict. Jeff? Bob had a question. He was just making sure that prior to the ordinance actually being enacted, it was okay to adjust the rates at the shelter.
Same thing, right.
which brings up the next question, when are we going to enact an ordinance? We've talked about it for about 6 months to a year now.
It is drafted, and I met with the attorneys from the cities. They are in the process of drafting they wanted to get their drafts of their ordinances that will match ours, so you all can, when you enact yours, you'll know exactly what theirs is gonna say, so.
And the problem was, we could have gone forward with a county ordinance, but it would have been in conflict with the city ordinances and would not have created a clear ability for us to utilize county animal control to recoup those costs. Basically, as a county, we would have incurred all the cost of animal control, and the cities would have recouped the costs, but they've been gracious enough to work with us and work with Jeff to create a unified ordinance that will allow us as a county to provide animal
But
control.
that's how it's happening now. They're not paying any of the cost of animal control. We're bearing the whole cost.
Well, city residents do pay county taxes, but.
I understand that.
But the way their ordinances were set up, if a person within the city limits was the offender, then our county animal control would take that to the county shelter, and then the city itself would recoup the cost. So what we've done is just taken that out, and they've agreed to allow us, at this point, they're not even charging anybody. They're not issuing any citations, there hasn't been any money collected. They just have the policy in place to do that. So once we reviewed those ordinances, we looked at it and saw an ability to just merge and then be able to create one system that would, in effect.
Well, they
everybody's
do
problem.
have a leash law in the city limits,
In Benton, they do.
but they don't enforce it.
No. They've not really had a good mechanism to enforce it, because typically your officers are not going out just writing leash law tickets. So it's just been something that's been on the books. They were trying to move forward, but they looked at hiring their own animal control, and long story short, this just seems to be a good solution for everybody, and that's why they went together to create the ordinance.
All right, you've heard the request of the animal shelter staff. What's your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve. I'd like to know maybe in 3 months how you feel it's working. So if we need to make any revisions or anything, that we could do so.
If it hampers adoption, that would be the only
Right.
thing. If extra fees hamper your adoption,
Mm-hmm.
then we might have to relook at it. I'll have a call and second it.
A motion and a second, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Anyone else to address the court? Let's move into correspondence from the National Association of Counties. Thank you for your membership and participation in the National Association of Counties. As a membership-driven organization, we truly value and appreciate your active support and leadership, especially during these turbulent and uncertain times. NACO evaluates their membership dues and their formula each year. The NACO board voted last year to update the county's population figures to use 2010 census figures as the new baseline for membership dues. Our membership dues for this year, for 2014, are $629. I believe that's up from $622 since the year 2006. So we're only going up about $7 to continue our membership in the National Association of Counties. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve payment to
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve our membership payment to the National Association of Counties. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Let's go into old business. You've all received the minutes of the May 7th meeting and also the minutes of the County Road 8 hearing, the afternoon, I believe, of May 7th. Any corrections or additions to the minutes of the meeting?
I have none. Motion to approve, Judge.
Have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. At our last meeting, we had the first reading of Ordinance 2013-04, the Opal Lane speed limit. The Fiscal Court of Marshall County, at a meeting to be held at 9:30 local time Tuesday, May 21st, at 1101 Main, Benton, Kentucky, will consider passage of the following ordinance. An ordinance in accordance with the provisions set forth in KRS 189-395-8 and based upon the request of the affected citizens and after review by the Marshall County Road Superintendent, the Marshall County Fiscal Court will set the speed limit at 25 miles per hour for Opal Lane, located in Marshall County, Kentucky. A complete copy of the ordinance can be reviewed in Marshall County Judge Executive's Office, 1101 Main, Benton, Kentucky. What's your pleasure?
Make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second that we pass ordinance 2013-04, speed limit 25 miles, Opal Lane. As you know, we have been in discussions, well,
Judge,
yes, sir.
there's a vote on that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Sorry about that, Bill. Thank you.
It's okay.
We've been in discussion, or they've been in discussion with us about the easement for our TVA parks here in the county. Talked with several people, talked with Sarah DeVasier yesterday, talked with her boss couple of weeks ago, and I asked to be put on the agenda for the August board meeting of TVA, which will be held in Knoxville. I'll do that at my own expense, but they said I could have 3 minutes. And that's fine, but, you know, and depending on whatever the court does, I just feel like that we're not being given enough consideration. Now, I do have a letter here. I got an email yesterday. Sarah told me it would be coming, and when I got back late yesterday afternoon to the office, it was here. This is in regard to Big Bear Park, Marshall County, Kentucky. Kentucky Reservoir, track number TXTGIR 130WA, and contract so-and-so. Thank you for the opportunity for TVA to meet with the Commission on May 7th, 2013, and answer questions regarding the land use agreement option available to Marshall County for the continued operation of Big Bear Park. As discussed, we need to put an agreement in place between TVA and Marshall County concerning use of the TVA land. TVA is appreciative of the investment the county has made in these parks, but we will be unable to waive the processing cost to put new agreements in place. However, TVA will work with the county to keep the costs low and allow the county to provide some of the needed work. Marshall County can choose between a revocable license and an easement. A license is revocable on 30 days' notice, while an easement would give the county guaranteed tenure in the land for up to 30 years, subject to certain conditions. TVA has very infrequently revoked a recreation license to a public entity, although TVA would have this right under a license. An easement would give the county the satisfaction of knowing they could use the land for a specified length of time. We are providing examples of both a license and an easement by email to Jeff Edwards, Marshall County Attorney. The processing costs for easements are greater than license. Since an easement is a much stronger commitment, more reviews and information are needed. Appraisals, land surveys, longer-range programmatic reviews, and more detailed written agreements are associated with easements. Public notices, environmental reviews, programmatic reviews, and project management are needed for both license and easements. Depending on the type of agreement requested, an initial processing fee is charged. For easements, the initial charge is $5,000, and for revocable license, the initial charge is $1,500. If the costs are more, the applicant is expected to pay those costs. If the costs are less, then a refund will be made to the applicant. Since Marshall County is a public entity and the use is for public recreation, TVA would not charge rent or any annual fee for this land. Man, I'm glad they put that in there. We have a table here of an agreement that Marshall County has with TVA. Big Bear expired March 13, 2011. Buckhorn Park expires March 14, 2021. Lakeland Wesley Village, September 30th, 2021. Birmingham Boat Ramp, we have no expiration date. Rocky Point, no expiration date. They did not mention Highway 68 and Old Highway 80. Now, they have an option here, consolidated easement for Big Bear Park, Buckhorn Park, and Lakeland Wesley Village, between $12,000 and $15,000. Easement for Big Bear Park only 5,000 to 7,500. License for Big Bear Park, 1,500 to 2,000. Assuming you do not have grant funding at risk for Big Bear Park, TVA's recommendation would be to put a license agreement in place for Big Bear Park and wait until 2018 to apply for one consolidated easement to include Big Bear Park and the other two easement areas. The reason is that you have 8 years remaining on the other two easements. If you consolidate all easements now, you would lose the remaining term on the existing easements. In other words, you still have time on the existing easements and can defer the processing costs to renew these easements till later. One item to note is that you have two licenses, Birmingham Boat Ramp, Rocky Point Park, which have not previously had an easement. This means they do not have a physical land survey and description, only an approximate map. If you desire to add them to the consolidated easement, they would need a land survey, which would increase the processing cost. Sincerely, James Adams, Tennessee Valley Authority Property and Natural Resources. Have you talked to him, Jeff? I mean, this is
Yes, I spoke, I traded phone calls back and an email back with Rachel Terrell yesterday, to talk about the possibility of this, of what I called bundling, and I think that is, part of that's what they addressed here, is how, if we were gonna consider doing something like that, how and when those others would fall into place. But I didn't get that easement. I've got the forms, the drafts for those, the easement and the license, but I did not get that email. that you
Well, I asked
read.
Ms. Terrell for a description and put it in writing, what our $5,000 was gonna buy. I mean, what are we paying for? And I have not received a response yet on that. I mean, I'm just curious to know, since apparently all of the archaeological things had been done 25 years ago. The Indiana Bat has not taken up residence there that I know of. We have not made any improvements that has hurt the environment in any way. So I was just curious to know what does that 5,000 pay for? I'm still not sure. Maybe they shared that with you, Jeff. I
No,
don't-
no, I haven't seen that.
But this is what they have recommended. Just got that, so I'll make copies for all of you to look at, to review. Do you have any suggestions what we do, Jeff, at this point?
Well, that answered some of the questions that I had. It, like you said, we do not have any kind of itemized list of what those costs are for. We could still, if you would, you may want to see what exactly you're paying for with that.
So is that 6,500 base proposal for the lease agreement and then easements on all the rest of the properties at the term of their expiration?
No.
No. And see
No, it
what,
said if you want, right, if you wanted to get the three of them right now, consolidate Big Bear, Buckhorn, and Lakeland Westland. It's between 12,000 and 15,000.
Okay.
Easement for Big Bear Park, only 5,000 to 7,500. That's their figure.
see, and the thing is, one thing that bothers me, and Judge, you probably recall this, when we met the first time, we were told the application fee was 5,000, and just on Bear Creek Park, that the total fee could be as much as 20,000. And I don't know why that's different now.
And then you can do the revocable license for the 1,500 per property if that's the option, as long as
Yes.
you're not concerned about grant funding or
Right.
revocation of that, I guess.
Well, 15 to
Two,
2,000, I think's what they said, Commissioner Drew, yeah. 15 to 2,000 for a license. Now, this is just for Big Bear only, Big Bear only. And that's with 30 days, they could come in and say, you know, we want it back, or we could walk in 30 days. Now, I don't know, and I've asked this question, okay, since we're paying all the money, can we now bill TVA for the mowing and for the upkeep and for the porta-johns, which is $8,000 a year at our day-use parks? Would they be willing to pay for that? They did not indicate that they would, but I've not formally asked that. So
but I guess the county chose to put a day-use park there. So I guess the reason I don't really support that theory is because we chose to put a day-use park there, so.
well, no, the fiscal court didn't choose to. The people of that area came to
Right.
us and asked us to. Now, we're going back a long way.
Sure.
So
But I mean,
I'm pretty familiar with
Right.
what went on.
I guess
And
my
that-
point though,
that-
Judge, is
if-
that was a choice by the court because the residents of that community wanted that. So why would that be TVA's responsibility to pay for that? It just doesn't,
They didn't. They hadn't paid a dime for anything.
right, because they didn't develop it. They didn't choose to develop it. The county did. So that's why I can't understand why we would even be looking at that as an option. I mean, like I said, if you rent your property out to somebody and you develop it, you can't go charge that person because you create a successful business on their property. I mean, the county took that property and made it into a successful day-use park. Everyone enjoys it, so we just have to decide if it's worth paying their renewal fee on the lease or if it's not.
That's what I'm asking the court.
Right, but we keep talking
Whatever
about
y'all wanna
TVA
do.
paying for all this and that. That was the county's choice, and I think it was a good choice, but it's not TVA's responsibility to pay for that.
What we've done at this point, to me, is we've at least got their attention. We've got them to agree that they're going to watch costs. My concern is, if we wait until 2018, what will be the atmosphere at that time? Will they not be as cooperative, or, I mean,
Well, you know,
in their
there's a lot of-
situation, they're not.
There's some questions I had, and I asked this question, and they told me I could go online and get this information. You know, I said, it's curious to me that we're all been out of shape here, winning $5,000 when TVA gives millions of dollars in bonuses every year. Every year.
But it's not just five, it's five for everybody that has a land lease agreement. My big frustration is that we've talked about this for 3 meetings, and we've spent more time on this than we have been talking about the $2 million in overages we have at our health department, or the $126 extra that we had spent at our refuse. That's what's frustrating to me, is if we took this sort of time and attention for every sort of an overage we have in county government, we might actually save some money from time to time. But in this situation, to me, it's clear. Either we decide that it's worth the day-use park, or we don't, and then we move forward.
It's
Maybe
up
we
to
need to
y'all,
have a
make a
town hall
motion,
meeting.
we'll move on.
Do you want to have a town hall meeting and discuss it with the taxpayers? They're the ones that are footing this bill. I mean, do we want to have a town hall meeting and ask if it's worth it to them, if they feel like it's enough of a value in their area to?
Everyone I've spoken with says it is worth the $1,500. They don't want it to be closed. I don't think that would be a wise decision on our part to close it at a cost of $1,500. I don't want to pay the $1,500, and I'd like to not.
Me neither.
But I'm not certain how we're going to accomplish that.
Well, I'm not
Well,
sure that-
1,500, you know, that's for the 30-day thing. I mean,
Right.
yeah, the easement, which gives you, 30 years, I guess, 25 or 30 years.
I mean, that's a minimum choice we have.
Yeah, that's
least
the
thing we can
30-day.
do. I mean,
period there,
they could
Terry.
come in and close us down, but if we wanted to go with that option, that's the least amount of money we're talking about. But I can't find anyone that's wanting it. Everyone is opposed to closing. They want it to remain. I don't wanna pay $1,500 or I don't wanna pay a penny for it, but I don't know how we're gonna talk the TVA.
Well, I asked the
into it.
question,
I don't
if
think-
you recall, I asked him, okay, we just say, okay, TVA, it's yours. What are you gonna do? And he said, well, we might close it off. That would be their call, if they wanna continue to operate it, or put a gate up, or a fence up, or charge people, I don't know.
And I think that's why we probably need to look at the $1,500 option, because if they come in and revoke our permit, then that's on TVA. Right now, it's in the county control, and for $1,500, we can keep a park open, and if they come in and revoke our permit, that's on TVA.
Judge, if we allow them to take that back, then it's gonna deteriorate, and the ramp and everything's gonna become unusable, and then our constituents are not gonna like that, I think, for $1,500.
I don't think it's about letting them take it back, and maybe I'm wrong, and he's sitting here, I guess TVA can watch it and decide that we're not gonna do anything, but I think the fight's all about making sure that they understand we're watching, and that, you know, they don't continue to just, if we decide whichever way we decide to go, they don't just continue to hand out invoices that, to pay this, because I can tell you the invoices say things like environmental study, no detail whatsoever. I know what they'll say, I've seen them. And so that's the kind of thing they'll do, archaeological study. And it'll have a number over here, and you pay that, and they'll just continue to come in. I think we've at least got their attention to the point that Mr. Adams agreed that he'd watch those costs. We can do our own surveys if we want to. I thought he agreed to that. We can put in public notices if we want to. Those are costs that we'll have control over, that before we did this, we didn't have any control. We were just gonna give them $5,000. They were gonna start handing us invoices above that as the cost bill for whatever we didn't know. So I don't know. I think we need to decide now. I don't know from Jeff's standpoint, or to see what bundling these things. I know we've got time on these others, but if we're gonna give $1,500 and then $1,500 again and again and again, then there we're gonna be. We're gonna spend as much on that as we are on bundling the easements.
Is it prudent to go a 30-day, or pay the 5,000 and be done with it?
Well, it scares me to death to think about just doing the 30-day thing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they privatize, or they do something different in Washington, and all of a sudden, bam, they say, okay, we're going to just close these. You got 30 days.
Yeah, I mean, so I think we gotta consider, do we want the long term or just that short term? And
Oh, I
if
think
that's what we
definitely
want,
the
I
long
mean,
term.
I
I definitely would like to have the long term, but is that achievable? That's the question.
Oh, well, I think we can take the copy of the letter, couldn't we, and kind of maybe wait till next meeting and decide if
Sure.
we want to go and bundle these, or if we just want to pay the $1,500. They're not going to close it between now and the 1st of
It
June.
would give me a chance to go over that information with Rachel Terrell,
Okay.
because that's something I haven't talked to her about, it's what she was in that letter.
Motion to table at the next meeting, Judge.
we have a motion, is there a second? Motion and a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Animal control ordinance, we talked about it, you think you're getting close, Jeff? with
Yeah,
the
I'll
two
go ahead and
cities?
give you all a copy of the draft I have that they are working with, that I met. And then, the reason is that there were several things that we took out, some things we added in, and in order for you all to make your final decision, I felt like it'd be helpful to know what the cities are planning. So, I'll go ahead and give you, I don't have theirs yet, but I'll go ahead and give you ours, and so you can go ahead and be reviewing that. I'll email that to you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay. Forklift, Russell, I think you've talked to everybody, and let's get it on the record what we're doing here.
We found a forklift that better suit our needs, and I was just wanting to get permission to possibly trade ours in for this one. The one that we're looking at, 6 years newer. It's a little smaller, runs on propane instead of diesel. and it just better suit our needs.
And you're under the bid limit, is that correct?
Yes.
What's your total trade-in cost?
Give 6,000 to boot, and, it would be, 14 is what the total, 14.5 is the total value,
And with our trade-in, we're gonna be out $6,000,
right.
correct? All
You
right.
have enough surplus property to take care of that cost, don't you, Russ?
Probably.
It's got equipment budget of 52,
Yeah.
minus the lights, I think.
Yes, yeah, he does have that, but I think he also has a surplus, property coming up that'll
Right.
should more than pay for that,
We'll know here in a minute.
yeah.
Make a motion.
So a
Second.
motion to allow Russell to trade the forklift, pay the difference of $6,000. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Mowers and tractors, we've been talking, we talked about doing 4 mowers and tractors, but in looking at the situation, we're gonna have 4 mowers and tractors coming due all at once. So we would like to spread that out and go 2 this year, then 2 next year. So, and then we bought 2 last year, Russell?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So we're kind of spreading out so we don't get hit all at once on our replacement cost. If nobody has an objection to that, I don't think I need a motion, but we wanted you to know what we're thinking about here.
Now, we're gonna have, you're gonna trade in 2 for these 2? Are we gonna trade in, or what are we gonna do?
Actually, we could trade in more than
We
that.
could trade in 3.
3.
And still have 4 mowers?
So you got, when we was talking about buying 4, I was gonna swap in 6.
Right. We could trade in 3 and have 4 mowers then available to cover for the 2, just having 2 old mowers and 4 new mowers.
Actually, you're gonna have
and
6 mowers. You're
Yeah.
gonna have 2 of the old ones and
Well,
4 of the new.
We'll have 8, we'll actually have 8 mowers.
Yeah.
We'll have 4 old ones and 4 new ones if we do this.
Right.
Yeah, and then next year, we could get 2 more. And get rid of all but one of the new ones. I mean, get rid of all but one of the old ones, excuse me.
If they hold.
We're gonna have half the season gone before we get the
I
new
know
ones
it.
anyway.
If we keep on, you know,
It'll be
it's
after
gonna
July
take
now.
3.5 months to get them.
Yeah,
You ain't gonna have about 1 month mowing season.
yeah, so we're just, we don't need a motion, I think we can do
Well,
that.
if we do, let's go ahead and authorize him to go ahead and get those 2.
Make a motion to authorize Russell to purchase the mowers.
Because it'll be, like Russ said, once we get our order in, you're looking, what, Russ, 2 months?
That'll be in the next budget.
Yeah.
Is that right, Emily?
Yes,
In
when
the
you
next-
all are talking about this year, you actually mean fiscal.
Right.
Next
Yes.
Fiscal year, right,
Buying
exactly.
2 mowers. I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to allow Russell to make arrangements for 2 mowers, 2 new mowers,
We'll-
coming out of the next fiscal year budget.
How are you gonna pay, I mean, what's the,
We will need to bid those.
Right?
yeah, we saw that the other day, that somebody bid them and got a little better price than the state price out of them, isn't that right?
Yes.
That's what they said, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, you've heard the motion. Second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Flashing lights, Russell, on your, what all were you wanting those on?
I've got 4 ordered, got 2 of them ordered for the great alls and 2 for the newer tractors right now, see how they work.
Okay. All right, y'all authorized this before, but he's got it going. All right.
Okay.
Any other old business?
Yeah, Judge, I talked to Troy out at the refuse about the cleanup, and they discussed it and estimated that they could do all 3 areas, Aurora, Hardin, and Gilbertsville, 1 cleanup day per year, limited roll-off. It won't be to the extent it was before. $17,000 to $20,000 is what they came up with. So I told them I'd pass those estimates along to you all, and we could look at that maybe when we go through budget workshop.
Well, I was at their refuge board meeting. We talked about it. I know what they're trying to accomplish, and to save the money. And, y'all keep that in mind if you wanna pay for it. Of course, they'll accommodate any way they can to, do what the court wants to do. But keep that in mind. What did you say, 17?
It's between 17 and 20 is
17
what
and
he
20,
said,
yeah.
rough estimates.
We
It's
talked
all
about it
three.
there at the board meeting, but.
One instead of two a year.
Yeah.
And then, other old business, Judge, we had talked about Gilbertsville. I know Jeannie is here from Neighborhood Watch. And we had discussed several things at our last meeting, one being drainage, and I think Russell has an update for you.
Me and Mike Oliver are supposed to meet down there sometime this week. He said he's gonna get some grade shots and try to give us a report on what he thinks needs to be done.
Mike Oliver's with the Highway Department.
State Highway
Cabinet,
Department,
and,
District 1.
And also that the local GIS mapping office is gonna provide some aerial views, some maps and things like that to help out with the project, if you wanna let everybody know the status of that.
I think, of course, Gilbertsville being a low area, same way with Hardin, it's hard to drain. That one ditch that we cut many years ago, and I was trying to think, Mr. Dexter, we cut a ditch across there, and that seemed to help for a while. And then it kind of filled up, but some of the other sewer pipe or lack of sewer pipe in some of the streets and some of the driveways, and then that, I guess, is still part of a problem, I don't know. But we'll let Mr. Oliver give his assessment. Once before, of course, they tell us what we gotta do, dig your ditches deep enough to get it to the river. Well, you dig your ditches deep enough to get it to the river, I don't think the landowner's gonna be very happy to have a 9-foot ditch in front of their house. That's what we found back then. I mean, this is not a new problem, but it's one that we certainly wanna work on and try to see what we can do to help. Any other old business?
The nuisance issue that we talked about, did you all wanna try to maybe schedule a workshop to maybe talk with city event officials and see what they're doing, or look at ours and see if it works, or see if there's something that we can do to maybe readdress some of the things that we've been dealing with on a reoccurring basis in terms of us not being able to really enforce, or at a minimum, maybe at least to look at a couple of properties we could identify to maybe go forward with our existing and see how that plays out, because I know, Bobby, you'd expressed that you thought maybe what we had on the books was working if we move forward with some of it, but.
Kevin just thought he might have somebody that could help with that coming up later on. And that was, I didn't know if we could get to that point and see if that alleviated some of the problem. And
Do you feel like that will, having Barry to do that will alleviate some of the problems, or?
I don't know. I certainly try to get to it as quick as I can, but, just to be honest with you, and I've told you this before, I know it is to communities out there, but I've got to prioritize the things that I do, and that's not one of the high priorities, unfortunately, because there's other things that we've got going on in this county.
Is it your opinion that maybe we need to restructure our nuisance ordinance, I guess? I mean, we've talked about this off and on, I know, for at least 2 years that I've been here, and I know they've talked about it years before. Do we need to restructure our nuisance ordinance?
I mean, I don't know what needs to be on. Like I said, I've got a young man that's in the academy right now that, whenever he gets out, that's gonna be one of his duties, is to, be my eyes on those, to where he'll be out and about, because not only that, he'll be doing all of our warrant and, civil paper service as well. And that way we will have somebody out there on a,
More regular basis?
on a more regular basis. Now, I don't know whether that'll make a difference or not, because still, it's gonna be left up to me to send out all the letters to all of the property owners and all of the folks that are renting, because I'll have to do the research on that to find out who owns the property and who's renting there, and send letters out to everybody. I mean, that's just a process. It's not gonna be quick, it's not gonna be easy.
It just sounds to me like what we're doing is not working.
And the only thing, if we get to a point where we can charge a fee and they don't pay it, you're still gonna be, I mean, you still gotta put a lien against their properties to do the same thing we're doing right now. I don't know that that would entice them. When they get a letter from Kevin, it seems like some of them have actually acted. You know, we've got them to clean up, but, and then some of them don't, but I don't know. If there's other ways we can handle it, that'll, you know, I mean, I'm open to looking at it, but it seems like we've got enough teeth in this. Maybe we, do we need to get, you know, have it handled in a different way as far as the letters and all that?
Here's my issue with it, because it's such a broad scope of what is violation of this ordinance. What you may think could be an ordinance violation may not necessarily be that, and that's what we're gonna get into. I'm gonna make the decision, or my designee's gonna make the decision. But eventually, it's gonna end up to where somebody's gonna say, nope, you made the wrong decision, and we're back to square one again, then everybody's gonna be mad because nothing got done. Where the guy's got high grass, won't mow his yard or whatnot, that's what we're gonna get into. Now, junk cars and white goods and stuff like that and abandoned trailers, that's without doubt. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But you're gonna get into other situations where people are gonna say, I don't like that, he needs to clean it up, but is it really a violation?
I don't
And who
disagree.
makes that determination?
There you go.
And
Because
unless
it's
I'm
such a
missing some.
broad spectrum there, and the state law is not clear on it as
Right.
well. Do you not agree with that,
That's the
Jill?
reason the ordinance is the way it is, because it matches the state statute.
The only ones that actually cleaned up their property that I'm aware of are the ones that this fiscal court addressed last year. And that was the pharmacy in Possum Trot and the residents adjoining, the two that we threatened to go in and basically bulldoze down at their expense. I mean, it took action by this court, which is a little bit different than what we've been doing in the past. So is that what we need to do? We talked about reviewing these monthly and just possibly taking fiscal court action, or?
We can, there was one at Ollie that got cleaned up just because they saw the others being an issue.
Do we want to try that, at least to review them and see if there are some that we can look at possible action on or getting involved? I feel like this is something so important to people, and we just keep talking about it.
I fought
We
with
don't-
this for 20 years in law enforcement, and we did clean up a few, but there's a lot more that never
Just like-
did. That I issued citations, and some of the citations, I don't know what happened, they never cleaned them up. Issued some people 3 citations for the same mess.
Just like Kevin said, though, one person's junk is another person's treasure. That's absolutely a fact.
We could take them on an individual basis like we did the others since, in the last couple of years, and just take a look at those and go one at a time. And
There may
like
be
Bob
some
said,
that's
hopefully
easier.
some of the other people will take notice.
But now, I wasn't, of course, I didn't think it was gonna be high grass to begin with.
No.
That's probably the way it is written, but, you know, high grass is not something that I'm interested in.
We
My
have too
mother
many
jumped me the
others.
other day because I hadn't mowed her yard, so.
Abandoned mobile homes are
know
really
about high
becoming an
grade.
issue
Oh,
everywhere.
They have been for some time.
I dealt with that in the
Well,
sheriff's office every day.
Sure.
Someone had an abandoned home, some of them parked on the right of way of the county's property.
Yep.
And we had anything we could do with them.
Can you
People-
bring in the current complaints at our next meeting with what you have? I know, you have a stack. I know, I've seen it.
Yeah, I can.
Let's start somewhere, right? I mean,
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Any other old business? Let's move into new business. We advertised, and I don't know if these are in order, Russell. We did advertise in the paper of record, Marshall County Fiscal Court will be accepting sealed bids on the following surplus items: 16-speed drill press, mechanics and tools, AC Delco generator, 13 horsepower, truck wheels and tires, 55-gallon hydraulic tractor fluid, retractable air hose reel, metal culverts, I don't know, you get several things here. I guess we'll just open them and,
I'd say they're probably just all mixed up. say somebody probably bid on everything.
Okay? Here we go. Philip Neal bids $105 on the 55-gallon 76 hydraulic tractor fluid and $1,050 on a 1997 Ford F-250 4x4 pickup, VIN number 3945, red in color. Who's gonna keep up with all this?
$1,050. Put a little tail on it.
From
He makes them, okay, so it's 1,000.
Keith Greer, bidding on several things. 16 drill press, $25, mechanics toolbox, $5, Delco generator, $5, truck wheels and tires, $40, hydraulic tractor fluid, $100, retractable air hose, $500, 36 by 20 metal culvert, $100, 36 by 11 6 metal culvert, $50, 36 by 13.9 metal culvert, $50, 36 by 19 metal culvert, I think that's 80, but yeah. And number 4, number 5, 36 by 19 culvert, 80, number 6, 36 by 17 metal culvert, 60, number 7, 36 by 14 metal culvert, 50, 36 by 14 black plastic culvert, 20, number 10, 24 by 10 black plastic culvert, 40, number 11, 2 by 36 black plastic bands, $5, number 13, 15 by 15 metal culvert, $50, number 14, 18, 10 by 10 metal culvert, 40, number 15, 24 by 13 metal culvert, 40, 16, 30, or 3.6 by 14 metal culvert, oval metal culvert, 30, number 17, 3.6 by 24 oval metal culvert, 100, number 18, 6 by 30 tank car, $300, number 19 by 16 metal culvert, $50, number 20, 7 by 40 aluminum culvert, $300. Jack Dunnigan, and he's bid on everything. $50 for the drill press, $2 for the mechanic's toolbox, $25 for the generator, wheels and tires, $2, $175 for the hydraulic fluid, retractable air hose, $25, 205 Gravely mower, $100, 1997 Ford pickup truck, maroon in color, $1,500, 97 Ford 4x4 pickup, red in color, $2,100. Number 1, 30 by 6 metal culvert, $100. Number 2, 36 by 116 culvert, $100. 36 13 by 9 metal culvert, $100. Number 4, 100. Number 5, 100. 6, 100. 7, 100. 7 is number 9. 9 is 25. 10's $1. 11, 100. 13, 100. 14, 100. 15, 100. 16, 100. 17, 200. 18, 100, or 19, 100. Number 20, 500. Scrap metal, $1 a pound. Or is that 1 cent a pound?
Here, so let's see.
This is, looks like tie hardened. I bid $650 on the maroon colored pickup and $620 on the red pickup. Yeah, oh yeah. Benny Adair, the 55-gallon hydraulic tractor fluid, $20. Gravely cut mower, $757. Nothing on the pickup trucks. $127 on the 36x20 metal culvert. $67 on the 36x11 6 metal culvert. 36x13 9 metal culvert, $77. Number 4, $127. Number 5, $127. Number 6, $121. Number 7, $77. And then he drops down to number 13 is $57. Number 14, $43. Number 15, $41. Number 16, $77. 17 is $127. The number 18, the tank car, $627. The 7x40 aluminum culvert, $801. Scrap metal, 8 cents a pound.
Still in. Yeah.
Tim York, on the metal tank car, $403. Number 18 and number 17 is $87.
No,
And then he says, I only want one, so he didn't get either.
no.
You're out, York.
No.
From Cowboy Street, number 18, 6x30 tank car, $501. Yeah. Jim Rayburn, the hydraulic tractor fluid, $226.34.
Yep.
Yep.
Campbell's Recycling, scrap metal, 8 cents a pound. Only thing they bill.
It's the same. And he's out. This one's out. Maroon? Yep, he's out.
From Gary Travis, 2005 Gravely Cut Mower, $777.77.
Yep. Easy.
From Tim Watkins, number 9, 36 by 14 black plastic culvert, $93.
No,
Nope, that's out.
no, wait a minute, number 9? Yeah, he's in.
He's in or out?
He's in. Sorry. $93. I looked at the wrong one.
From Rick Castleberry, the 205 Gravely mower, $901.
He's out.
From Jacob Denfip, $50 on the drill press, $100 on the hydraulic fluid, $10 on the air hose reel, $100 on the mower, $600 on the 1997 maroon pickup. $1,000 on the mower,
That's a high one.
I'm sorry. $600 on the maroon truck, $800 on the red truck.
He's out. He's in.
That's- From Shane Watkins, 16 speed drill press, 2471. Number 6, 36 by 17 metal culvert, 8419.
This one's beat that.
36 by 30. Yeah, he's out.
Out.
The drill press out.
Yeah. We got 50, we got 2 at 50 for the drill press.
What do you do in that situation?
For the mower,
Both bid again.
from Ray Price, $625. That's out, because you already got $1,000 bid on that. From Mike Oakley on the 1997 red pickup truck, $811. And for the number 18, 6 by 30 metal tank car, $1,557.50.
Look, we got a winner.
That's what she did it
Rex Jones, $8 on the press, $7 on the toolbox, $11 on the hydraulic fluid, $7 on the hose, $76 on the mower. On the maroon pickup truck, $310. On the red pickup truck, $1,159. Number one, 36 by 20 metal culvert, 27. Number four and number five, metal culverts, 36 by 19, 27 each. And number 20, the 7 by 40 aluminum culvert, $35. Rex Jones. I mean,
He's
they're
got
out.
the toolbox.
He's got the toolbox.
What is it, like $7? Yep.
That's it.
Five's the closest thing we can do.
All right, if y'all wanna be totaling that up, we'll take about a 5-minute break. Call the fiscal court back to order. We have our winning bidders. We'll try to go through these real quickly. We did have two people bid the same thing on the 16-inch drill press. So I suppose that the county attorney or Russell, you contact them, see if they want to submit another bid. We'll open at the next regular meeting of fiscal court. Jacob Denfip was one of those, and he also was the high bidder on the mower at $1,000. Jack Dunnigan was also one of the high bidders on the press. They'll be notified. He got the generator, he got the retractable air hose reel, the maroon pickup truck and the red pickup truck, the 36 by 11.6 metal culvert, the 36 by 13.9 metal culvert, 36 by 14 metal culvert, 15 by 15 metal culvert, 18 by 10 metal culvert, 24 by 13, 36 by 14 oval metal culvert, and the 19 by 16 metal culvert. All goes to Jack Dunnigan. The truck wheels and tires go to Keith Greer, as well as the 24 by 10 black plastic culvert and the 2 by 36 black plastic bands. They go to Keith Greer. Gamble's Recycling received the scrap metal, 8 cents a pound. The mechanic's toolbox goes to Rex Jones, $7. Hydraulic fluid goes to Jim Rayburn, $236.34. Tim Watkins gets the 36 by 14 black plastic culvert for $93. Mike Oakley gets the 6 by 30 tank car metal culvert, $1,557.50. Benny Adair is the high bidder on the 36 by 20 metal culvert, the 36 by 19 metal culvert, or two of those at $127 each. 36 by 17 metal culvert at $121. Oval metal culvert, $127, and the 7 by 40 aluminum culvert for $801 goes to Benny Adair. I will entertain a motion to accept the high bids.
Motion set the high bid.
We have a motion, is there a second? Motion and second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Ordinance number 2013-05, this is our budget amendment. This is an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof, whereas the County of Marshall has received additional funds, now be it ordained by the fiscal court of Marshall County that Section 1, the annual budget for fiscal year 2012-2013 be amended. For the animal shelter from the B. Harrison Estate, $1,432.47. Miscellaneous Gary Lynn, do you know what that's about? $654.35. Lois Rogalski, 100. Insurance reimbursement, $1,389.62. Real property, $50,000. Tangible property, 12. Motor vehicle, 20. Garbage tax, $10,000. State collection, $60,000. Franchise tax, $50,000. TVA and lieu of, $40,000. FEMA, DR 1818, $8,038.62. The splash pad grant. By the way, are they gonna open the splash pad by, Memorial Day? Okay, very good. $70,000. Election expense, $4,850. Animal shelter adoption fees, $5,000. Art commission loan draw, $55,000. Coal severance funds, $30,000. Contract with other counties, $17,000. Jail fund, surplus from prior year, $110,000. Water Vision 2020, 78. And occupational tax, $680. This is for a total increase in revenue of $1,303,465.06. For the expenditures, animal shelter, spay neuter, additional expense, $14,032.47. Office of Emergency Management repairs, $654.35. ASAP program, 100. Ambulance repairs, $1,389.62. Parks construction, $30,000. Parks gas, $6,500. Parks parts and repair, $3,500. General reserves, $284,888.62. Animal shelter personnel increased by $5,000. Arts Commission construction, $55,000. County paving, $30,000. Jailer's salary, $700. Jail food, $22,000. Building maintenance repair, $5,000. Jail reserves, $99,300. Water Vision 2020, $78,000. Occupational tax refunds, $20,000. Occupational tax administrative reserves, $660,000. Total of $1,303,465.06. The amounts added to the revenue and expenditure accounts, Section 1 are for governmental purposes. This is approved, if you agree, by the Marshall County Fiscal Court on the 21st day of May, 2013. Of course, this will have to be sent to the Office of Local Government, State Local Finance Officer, and then adopted on the second reading. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve the changes, Judge.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carried. From the Johnson Creek Water District, we have their audit report. I have reviewed it. It's here for your review. For any of the court members and for the general public, we'll have to send that what? Do what? Oh, you've already got copies. Okay, thank you. I forgot about that. So I would entertain a motion to accept the audit report for the Jonathan Creek Water District.
Make that motion, Judge.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. From the Aurora Ross Fire Protection District, please appoint Marcia Searles as the firefighter representative for the Aurora Ross Fire Department Board. We would like for her to replace her previous representative, which was Jimmy McNeely, and Jimmy resigned. And this is submitted by Jerome Ragsdale, the Aurora Ross firefighter. Marcy's been active with the fire department for some time, and she'll make a good board member representative. And this is the wishes of the firefighters. So I would ask that you concur with their recommendation.
Motion to approve the recommendation.
I have a motion. Is there a second? Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Certainly appreciate our board and our department out at the Aurora Ross Fire Protection District. Those of you who have not had an opportunity to go by and see their new facilities, I guess we can't call them new anymore, Jerome. They're been there a while, but something that the community, not only the firefighters and the board's very proud of, but the community's very proud of. And they can serve so many purposes there with the new department. It's just unbelievable. We appreciate it. Okay, Treasurer's Report, Emily.
April 30th, 2013, the general fund had a book balance of $682,052.51. The road fund had a balance of $610,822.79. The jail fund had a book balance of $140,272.37. The grant fund, $6,526.87. 911 fund, $175,889.14. The occupational tax administrator has $2,928,417.31.
Well, this is totally different from what you've given me. Those numbers are not matching up.
That's your bank balance.
Okay. Well, take that off. You had my book balance covered up.
Sorry, I was hiding it from you.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, what are you doing here?
Your veterans band fund has $3,638.76 for a total book balance of $4,547,619.75. I read book balance just because it's more accurate than the bank
I
balance.
understand. I understand. All right, any questions for Emily? Entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report subject to audit.
Got motion, Judge.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Payroll receivable,
The sheriff's office owes $318,911.64 as of April 30th.
okay, I think everybody, but those of you who are not familiar with what we're doing, we have to float the sheriff, not only us, every county that I know of, maybe there's one or two, Rich, Kevin, I don't know, but from the time our taxes are collected and Kev settles up with the county, then till taxes come in again to keep his department operational, the court loans the money to the sheriff's department to cover the payroll. And then when it comes in, we settle up. So those of you who looks like, well, the sheriff just got a big balance there, well, yeah, and then we get bigger before the year's over. But we do this every month just to keep a running total of everything, but that's what that's about. And it's a reoccurring thing. Okay. Need a motion to approve the accounts receivable report. Motion approved. Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Intra-fund transfer, Emily?
I'm asking that, I may move, if needed, $50,000 from the occupational tax administrator fund to the jail fund. That's only if needed due to us not meeting for a couple of weeks, so If I get a state payment in, I won't need to do that. I will wait until it's a have-to situation before I make that transfer, but I would like to get your approval prior to.
You've heard the request, do I hear a motion? Have a motion by Squire Anderson, is there a second? Second by Squire Gold, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. In talking to, our jailer, Roger Ford, we still have a concern about our state prisons. It was reported, and I assume, and I don't know when, this is all gonna be completed, but they did not renew the contracts with the state. Those private prisons, Kevin, am I correct there? I think that's correct. And I don't know if they've all been moved. I do know that they're going more to home incarceration now. And according to Roger, they're probating or paroling a lot quicker than they have in the past. So, of course, our budget is dependent to some degree on the amount of state prisoners that we hold for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So we're hopeful that that population is going to increase because that helps Roger's bottom line tremendously. Arts Commission draw request. What? Oh, I'm sorry, budget appropriation transfer. Emily?
I've given you all a budget appropriation transfer request. Some of these are within the departments, but some of them do come from reserves. I'm requesting a total of $27,750 to come out of reserves and to go into, they are kind of uncontrollable overages, phone expense accounts, the other contract services, that's $5,000. Just to explain to you all, that is to cover the expense of, you all voted to approve to pay for a portion of a survey for the Fleetwood property, I believe it was. And Marty had came and said that we had to go ahead and issue that payment, so that covers that caused an overage out of there. Another is utilities, and then the other is to cover the $500 contribution to the fair.
You heard the request, what's your pleasure?
Motion to approve transfer.
I have a motion, is there a second? Motion and a second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Now, draw down request from the Arts Commission.
I have 2 invoices that I'm going to submit to Keiko to draw from the loan. They are for $1,622.75 upon your approval.
Now, that's a total of $1,622.75.
Yes.
All right? You've heard that request, what's your pleasure?
Motion approved.
Have a motion, is there a second? Motion and a second, all in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. We've got an opportunity to review the bills. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
Motion to pay the bill.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Let the record reflect, I appreciate that the county attorney dressed up for the meeting today.
I'm in fair mode.
I
I was gonna wear mine too, but it was great.
Jeff is on the fair board and has got a lot of responsibilities along with Mel and a good group of volunteers that work hard to get the fair ready, the fairgrounds ready. Rain always makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, what Wendy
We
and
had
I
a-
spent until midnight getting ready, it blew down last
The
night.
tent blew down, so things are usual for County Fair Week. But what's on tap for tonight? Anybody
We've got the baby pageant, we've got, the carnival with, and we have, go-kart races.
Okay.
Judge, I had a couple of things I was hoping to discuss in executive session. We could take one, one is tour personnel, I guess, and one is an issue that was brought to my attention about a benefits package, I guess, that we probably need to discuss.
All right, make a motion.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Motion in second. We're in executive session. Call the court back into regular session. We had an executive session, talked about several things. One is trying to get a clear understanding and an opinion on terminations, layoffs, growing unemployment. We're gonna ask that we get an opinion on this issue from our legal counsels at CAECO, or maybe they will assign somebody, we don't know. But we will get back once we get a opinion or a ruling from them. Any other business? Did we pay the bills?
Yeah.
We did.
Any other business come before the court?
Date change. next
Date
meeting.
change, our next regular meeting of the court is scheduled for June the 4th. Want to move that to the 11th,
That'd be fine with me.
and instead of the 18th, then meet on the 25th.
Yeah, it
All
wouldn't
right with
matter.
everybody? All right, no objection, we'll move our June court meetings to the 11th and the 25th. Like to schedule a budget workshop when is convenient for everybody.
Can you do next week, Bob? Terry, can you do next week?
I'm fine,
When?
all I need is a little notice.
Anytime next week, and we have the economic development thing on Friday, would it work better if we did both those the same day for you, Bob?
It'd be fine with me.
You wanna do Friday morning before our economic development?
Is that
training?
Friday the 24th or Friday the
The
31st?
31st.
Our meeting will just last about an hour and a half.
And it starts at 11?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've got family court. I guess I have to be there.
So schedule a budget workshop at 8:30 the 31st?
Does that work for you guys? Sounds good.
It's, okay.
That's Friday.
Uh, Any other business? And I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay.
There you go.